You know, the thing about bullying is that I never want to pretend like it didn't break me, because it changed, I think, the fabrics of who I am. As a little girl, my family calls me Abby. So I was this extroverted kid. I love music, I love to dance, I love to sing. But I've always been a big dreamer. I'd watch wrestling and on my grandfather's floor in the village, and there'd be like Life of Madison Square Garden. I saw that and it was so beautiful to me that I knew that I could do anything. I didn't know how, but I knew I had no barriers in my mind. I never saw any difference in me and the most successful person. And fast forward to me leaving the village, I moved when I was 8 or 9, and being bullied almost puts all your differences almost like in a magnifying glass, where you start seeing the things that you don't have. It's from how you look at your face. I never looked at my face like that. I never thought of beauty in that way. I just was the way that I was. My aunt was the way that she was. My cousins were just like the way that they were. But when you are being bullied, it does this thing where you start picking yourself apart. From the shape of your eyes, the shape of your nose, the way your hair is styled, the shape of your body. You're 9 years old, but you're also looking at the shape of your body. You start looking at different things about yourself. And a world that once had no barriers, or it had speed bumps, but you didn't care for those, there were no limits to how you dream, starts feeling like there's obstacles everywhere. Because that magnifying glass that you have on yourself makes you see everything that is wrong with you, even if it's 10% wrong, according to the world, and doesn't make you see the 90% that is so right with you, that makes you so different. That magic that the world needs, but it can only come from you. I feel like abuse in any kind basically does that. It strips you away from seeing your magic. What I realized is that I just wished someone had seen me. Someone had heard me even when I wasn't speaking. And I think for 10 years after that, I struggled with anxiety, still do. I struggled with low self-esteem. I preferred being by myself reading books because I felt safer by myself. I didn't feel safe with the world anymore. And I think the turning point was when I turned 25. I realized that no one can ever validate me enough to get me out of that. And I'm the only person who can validate me. The world can see my potential, the world can see how great I am. But until I have the same conversation with myself, I'll never believe it. And I can only blame my bullies for so long, but they've moved on with their lives. My uncle actually drilled that into my head, because he was like, dude, people believe in you, people believe you're a winner, but we can't convince you to see something that we see if you don't see it in yourself. Like, whatever conversations or labels you put on yourself, whatever things you don't like about yourself, whatever you believe about yourself, that's what you'll be. So if you believe that you're a victim, that's what you'll be. If you let things like what happened to you hold you back, that's what you'll be, So change the conversations that you're having with yourself. And even, I think beyond that, therapy was such a beautiful mirror, because it also just showed me that I'm not being bullied anymore. That means I've taken over from my bullies. And I think the first time I thought and believed that I was in any shape or form worthy or even beautiful was when I was 25. I looked in the mirror and it felt like I saw myself for the first time. I saw the things that I didn't, necessarily, or for years, that I thought were weird about me, And I looked and I appreciated what I saw. I appreciated the person who has worked hard. I appreciate the fact that I never let anything bring me down. And I think what's happening now in my life, I guess, is that the 8-year-old dreamer from the village is coming back, where I see the obstacle, but that obstacle must see me too, type of energy, I see the obstacle, but what must happen now? I need to get over, so let's go, let's keep it moving. And those are the conversations that I have with myself, where the barriers that are there, I am now aware, based on the data and the evidence, that I have the ability to put them there and to move them as well.